Well, I was a little late too, but. I'll wait till she says. All right. Call to order for the City of Cannon Falls City Council meeting, Tuesday, December 16th. If I could get a roll call, please.
Diane Johnson.
Here.
Zimmerman. Chad Johnson.
Here.
Jepson. Novak.
Here.
Cronenberger, absent. Montgomery.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I could get a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion.
Motion from Lisa,
Second.
second from Jep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Gets us to public input. Public input is intended to afford the public an opportunity to address concerns to the City Council. The public input will be no longer than 30 minutes in total length. Each speaker will have no more than 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may address topics relevant to the governance of the city. Speakers must sign up in advance, must provide their name, address, and the topic they intend to address. Comments must be on topic, respectful, pertinent to city business, and adhere to applicable data privacy rules. Any speaker that violates these rules will be asked to sit down. If the speaker refuses to comply, they may be removed from the meeting. Speakers shall not address topics that are the subject of a public hearing. All such comments shall be made at the public hearing. The City Council will not generally act on issues raised by the public input, but may choose to schedule consideration of the item on a future agenda. Tonight, we got Tim Deemer.
I don't know if this is worth it. Tim Deemer at Cannon Falls since 1991. I had notes I was going to read from, but I think I'll just do it from trying to figure out how to proceed with things when there's a couple kind of serious, but to everybody else it's not at all. It don't even come up in their day-to-day life or in responding to my concerns and just feeling abused. So I don't. It's it's not physical abuse, but it's any. There's emotional. So I just read there's like 3 or 4 types of abuse, and I'm not. I'm at a loss, so I don't know who to turn to. I went to a council meeting in Red Wing. Two of the council members afterwards took my name number a month ago. They have the same 2 meetings a month, so I don't know who to speak. I reached out to one of the police, but he's been gone. I left him a voicemail back on the 6th. He came to check on me one day, and then I had the second welfare check. They didn't even come out. He just called Taylor. It's one of the officers I'm having. He talked to him on the phone. I should have asked him then about an incident that happened at the mall. So not sure who to have a sit down and talk with, and it's
Okay.
should be looked into.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. All right. That'll get us to our public hearing for Resolution 2848, adopting the 2026 tax levy and budget. John, before we open the public hearing, would you like to share information or any presentation type thing, or just go straight to open the public hearing?
Sorry, thank you. I'll just do a quick summary. I won't have a presentation for the PowerPoint. We've had a lot of conversations about the budget. I sent out in an update a couple weeks ago more of the finer details on where things are going to be. So I've heard from a couple council members since then. If there's any other questions, I can do what I can to answer them. But just want to emphasize that, you know, the preliminary, our process this year with the preliminary levy was we were making some conscious efforts that we knew we could bring the levy number down. So yes, it was a 10.8% preliminary levy. That's what went out in the proposed levy statements. However, when all things have been said and done and where we're at with what's being presented in the final levy, we're down to 3.17% of an increase. So did the math to try to evaluate what that was going to be. Most home values next year look like they're going to stay flat. So it's for the median residential house in Cannon Falls, that will be $38.45, likely, roughly estimated change in their taxes, increase in their taxes from this year to next year.
All right. We will open up the public hearing, see if anybody wants to step up and speak. And after that, we'll have discussion for the council, all right? So the public hearing is officially open. If there's anybody that would like to address the podium, speak on behalf of the 2026 budget. Going once. Going twice. Third and final call. All right, we are closing the public hearing. Discussion up here from the council. Any questions or comments? I know we've had a lot of meetings, informational, finance, all those things, but if you have questions, now's the time.
I was just going to again say thank you to John and the staff and whoever worked on it. Great job and appreciate it.
Wonderful. If there are no questions or comments or discussion, I would seek a motion to approve Resolution 2848, the 2026 tax levy and budget.
So moved.
Motion from Diane.
Second.
Second, I don't know if it was Chad or Lisa who got it. Lisa. Go Lisa? All right, Lisa got the second in there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Gets us to our consent agenda. Consent agenda items may be adopted under one motion as presented or may be removed for discussion and resolution as council business. Item A, just and correct claims for the accounting period ending on December 11th, 2025. Item B, meeting minutes, December 2nd, 2025 city council minutes. Item C, resolution 2849, accepting a $1,000 donation from Invenergy to the ambulance department. Item D, second reading and adoption of ordinance 413 and summary of publication and ordinance amending City Code Title II relating to fees, charges, and rates. Item E, approve sewer credit 101 Timber Lane. Item F, sewer credit 102 Bavarian Circle. Item G, approve sewer credit 107 Maple Court. Item H, approve sewer credit Mill Street Tavern. Item I, approve purchase of sewer inspection camera system. Item J, approve hiring of part-time EMTs for the ambulance department. Item K, resolution 2850, accepting a $1,500 donation from Invenergy to the police department. Item L, approve the memorandum of agreement with law enforcement union to extend the probation period. Item M, approve police officer Altoff promotion. Item N, resolution 2851, establishing fire department officer stipends. Item O, approve Cannon Falls Fire Department Relief Association bylaw change. And item P, approve final pay request 2023-2024 street improvement project. Is there anything the council would like to pull down?
Aye.
Item I.
Sewer inspection.
Item I is the sewer inspection camera system. We will put that down to council business B, okay? Anything else from the council? Hearing none, I would take a motion to approve our consent agenda. Jeff has the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Gets us to council business. Resolution 2852, authorizing budget transfers for year-end 2025 Cannon Falls City Audit and revised transfers for 2025. John?
Thank you, Mayor. So in our budget transfers, We typically budget, it's in the budget that we approve each year to actually transfer money. Most of them are for capital items that we plan to purchase maybe in the next year or even into future, building up reserves into future years. And in the evaluation of the budget this year, there were a couple kind of key areas that we noticed that had some differences and changes. So we tried to find a way to incorporate them into this resolution. So specifically, the key ones that I found in the process were that in 2021, there were a couple budget resolution transfers that were made, and then the funds or the resolution was approved, and the funds were either one in the resolution designated the wrong fund that they were supposed to go to, or they were designated the proper fund, and just in the process of moving the money, an error was made. It didn't affect anything specifically with the projects at the time of those purchases or the needs for those dollars, but seeing that they were incorrect, we wanted to kind of clean a couple of those things up. So one is $166,500 was transferred back in 2021, and it was intended to go to the fire capital improvement project for the purchase of a truck. That wasn't. That ended up actually going to the park capital improvement fund. So we're correcting that by moving it back from park to fire. Additionally, in 2021, there was a project related to the water tower restoration, and $365,000 were supposed to be transferred from the water fund to that project fund. It didn't go to the project fund; it ended up in the park fund. It has just been there for those 4 years. I'm proposing that we move that to municipal reserve, and with that, make as part of this resolution, indicate that $100,000 of that would be dedicated towards the roof on the museum, the repairs for the roof on the museum. Then lastly, wanted to indicate that in our conversation with the auditors over the course of the year when we were working through the budget process, and I think I've talked about this a number of times, we identified that our bond payments amount allocation, the process for that was happening in 2 different forms. We're consolidating that into the one process where we have a budget line for bond principal for our utility funds and a budget line for bond interest in our utility funds. Prior to that, we had both of those lines, plus we had these transfers that would go from those utilities, so water, sewer, storm, and that money would get moved into the bond fund where the payments then are made from. The auditors are the ones that make that adjustment for the principal and interest, and we do the transfers for the budget. Well, because they were both coming out, there was we were actually overcharging utilities for those transfers. So this year, identifying that, we're going to move the transfers towards the capital improvement fund for public works, dedicate it for what's the next item that we pulled from consent, for some of that for the sewer camera that's being requested, and then the remaining will be undesignated for those funds. In future budgets, including this one that was just approved, those transfers won't be made, and we'll just go with the principal and interest payments and have the auditors make those adjustments through the years. So the benefit to that is that there's been enough funds built up in those debt service accounts over the years that those debt service accounts have pretty strong balances, so we don't need to make the same level of contributions in futures, and hence that's why a big part of the levy made that reduction. So that kind of explaining how we ended up receiving some of that benefit, and a lot of that is actually going to carry forward into future years. So it's both a kind of a good and identified something that could have been done differently, but in the end it has a positive impact, in my opinion, to the rest of the city. So we do have, I will note that we were talking about closing out a couple of the project funds. We did have the last approval payment for 2023-2024 project. We'll work through that next year, and that will likely be brought up in the audit, where we'll close out the funds this year when we do the audit approvals and transfers mid 2026. So those were in part earlier presentations. We pulled them out and are processing that. We're going to process that through the audit.
All right, questions, comments, discussion from the council?
Question.
Go for it.
I've noticed we're taking two rather large, at least in my, large chunks of money out of the park capital, which was not supposed to go there. Had park capital people had any plans for that money they thought they had, or?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I don't think they were ever really expecting that they had this and that they had things in store. The benefit to having that mistake made to them is that actually in the time since that transfer, we've had some of the better interest earning periods. So all the funds earned on interest from that do get dedicated and allocated to the funds at which the time the dollars were there. So we're not touching the interest earnings. So they did get some positive things of having, those accounts sitting in that fund for extra years. So we'll leave that interest earnings alone. And, likely with, again, as a reminder, with the development agreement with Tract, we do have the park dedication fee, so that will be coming directly to that fund as well. So,
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, I would take a motion to approve Resolution 2852, authorizing the budget transfers.
Motion.
Motion from Lisa,
Second.
second from Chris. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Gets us to council business item B, which was I in the consent agenda, pulled up by Chad, approving the purchase of the sewer inspection camera.
All right, so don't have a problem with it necessarily. It's a big purchase, and I guess questions are like, when did we have it last? And how often do you use it? And what's like, say, using it versus a contractor? When someone does work for us, I imagine we can inspect it as they do it.
So because it is such a purchase, I did do a little bit of background on what we pay for, because we'd like to video the whole town, because it'll help us in our comprehensive plan to know infrastructure and whatnot. So the city currently has about 161,346 linear feet of sewer. I think it's right around 30 miles. The price, we got two quotes that do per foot and then one quote that's hourly, which I don't even know how to figure how many hours it would take. But the one quote is $1.20 per foot plus mobilization fees, which comes out to about $193,000 to video the whole town. And the other quote is $1.50 per foot, which comes out to about $242,000 to video the whole town.
That's just once.
And that's just once. This should last us years and years. We were initially looking at more of a portable type system that we could throw in the back of a truck. The one that we are going with Envirosite is still that portable system, but they had a used trailer that they were willing to sell to us as well. And so it would be used, it'd be best to run out of a trailer, but we do have a few manholes that are, back in the woods, we could throw it in the back of a truck and use as well.
So is it like the camera's on a hose and the hose goes down in and then you can?
Not a hose, it's on a reel, and it has about 800 feet of line, but it's connected and it's remote control from either the cab of the truck or the back of a camera. So we looked at 3 different cameras. One was an Aries, one was Envirosite, and the other one was some off-brand, and they Q's. Sorry, it's not really an off-brand, but they didn't even bring out a camera for us to look at, so we kind of disregarded that one. The Aries and the Envirosite were very comparable, apples to apples. Other than the Envirosite, it has the portable option for us, so we can actually grab the reel, the camera, throw it in the back of a truck and use it, where the Aries was only mounted to a trailer. Both Aries and Envirosite, or McQueen is who Envirosite's through, had a used trailer that they were willing to throw in. The one from McQueen was a little bit nicer trailer than the one that Aries had. And the big kicker for us, is why we went with Envirosite over Aries, is the Aries had a software that has a subscription that's like $3,000 a year. So where this one has software built in and we can just use it. There is options for us down the road if we feel like we need more software for inspections. We can buy that, but right now this will get us hit the ground running. It does come in at 171,000. There is a big wheel kit, that's about 13,000, and that is gonna come out of the storm sewer, because that will be used mainly for your 15 to 8-inch lines, and that'll be able to video sewer as well. Yes, about the old camera, it was so old they used VHS to record with it.
Really?
It hasn't worked in,
Do we expect that the new one will last us 20 years? Like, the vehicle itself probably will, if you're just using it for that, but.
right, and it's just a trailer, it's not a.
Just a trailer.
So, yeah, it
the-
should at least 10 to 15
Yeah,
years.
if I could add, I was actually just by happenstance driving through the area when they were pulled up with the camera to do the demo, so I got to see it, firsthand. A lot of the components on the camera in and of itself are all replaceable. Like that was a big that was a really interesting component to me. So like the camera itself, the arms, the booms, the wheels, all of that housing, like a lot of those parts you can get replaced and change out. Is it going to last 20 years? I mean, a piece of technology like that, probably not. But these things are well built. He talked about the person doing the demo talked about they sent it down a line, and there was I don't know if it was an industry had some really hot 200-degree water sent down the line. They pulled the camera out. Some of the softer parts were melted, but the metal housing in the camera in and of itself, they cleaned it up, replaced those parts, and put it back in, and it worked. So they're pretty well built. The software upgrades I think are we'll see, but yeah, not having that annual maintenance fee I think was important for
Do they
us
have any
at
type
this
of
time.
warranty on it? Like, say their software breaks after a
Yes,
year?
there is a warranty. I'm sure it's probably about a year. I don't know the details on it. Yes, there is a warranty, but
Are they gonna honor this quote? Because it
Yep,
looks like it
yep,
expired.
yeah, we got it updated.
yes.
All right.
So.
I just had some questions. I don't know how that stuff works, so. All
Good
right.
questions.
Good questions.
Would you like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve it. It sounds like you guys need it, so.
Perfect. Motion from Chad. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Jep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That gets us through council business and gets us to reports. EDA, December 4. If you,
Yeah, so we had our meeting. One of the big parts of that was when they started the project this fall at Hardwood Estates. In some of the areas where they're digging, they ran into bedrock. There was possibility that they didn't have it. Soil borings didn't indicate exactly where it was, and in the first phase of the project, that they didn't run into any issues with it. They knew they were getting close. I think in part where they dug the storm sewer, they were getting really close to it, but it never impacted the first phase of the project, to my knowledge. But in the second phase, they did run into areas where it was shallow bedrock, and they did need to bring in extra equipment to address that. So within the bid document, there was quantities quoted for doing that work. Phil and his team evaluated that and prior to authorizing the additional digging. So it was known to them, and they did know the quantities, and they did believe the price was very competitive with that type of work for that area. So it was indicated and authorized to move forward with doing that extra excavation for the rock, and that will have an additional cost to the total project. At most, Bill believed it would be like $40,000. So in the EDA project, when we were establishing or setting up for the final lot prices, it was determined to address that and add an additional $1,000 to. Originally, it was all the lots. I believe Laura was discussing potentially if we wanted to keep the most expensive ones under $80,000, we'll still make that final determination. But we're at the point where I think the parcel IDs are now issued for all of them, so we're getting very close to having those completely available for the market. That was on the hardwood update. Anything else, Diane?
No, just, yeah,
Yeah, that's the biggest point
with
of
the parcel IDs, public hearing for listing them for
Yep,
sale will
yep.
be January 8th. We changed
Yes.
the meeting
Yep.
date.
So, yeah,
All right.
establish that.
Public Works Park Board also met on December 4th.
You want me to take that?
Go for it.
Most of it's in the, well, all of it's in the
Consent
consent
agenda.
agenda. We had new homes that were built on Timber Lane, Bavarian Circle, and Maple Court. All those vacant homes were trying to establish grass and ended up watering quite a bit, trying to establish that grass. And so they asked for a sewer credit on that water since none of it went down the sewer. Mill Street Tavern had a issue with, I think it was the water softener, broke a fitting due to the slope of the floor, even though it happened inside, every majority flowed out the door and into the storm sewer, which didn't go down the sewer, so he also asked for a sewer credit. And then we talked about the, I addressed the camera a little bit, but that was the majority of it, was those sewer credits.
All right.
So.
Planning Commission, December 8th.
I was going to say, we had another exciting, there was no action, but we did have a very good discussion on the proposed amendment to the city code, creating a fair district. Izzy did an incredible job. She sat all day Friday and allowed people to come in and share their thoughts and concerns and proposals. And we're now have John is our ad hoc group been formed.
Facilitator, yeah.
Facilitator, what, yeah.
So, I will add to that. So the conclusion with Ware Mission, and then 2 members from the neighborhood group that has, specifically been attending a lot of this and providing a lot of this feedback, as well as offer for a council person to attend or join us in that conversation. So we hope to find a time to schedule that sometime. I know with the holiday season it's going to be very tricky. I have some scheduling conflicts where I'm not in town during those couple weeks, but likely very early January. And in fact, Izzy and I just tonight before the council meeting were able to meet with the 2 members from the neighborhood group that they're interested in participating, and we had a very, very productive conversation in terms of if this is going to happen, sides need to give, like both sides. So, and it was, I think, in a lot of this and the experiences that I've had with where we've gone is, the history of what happened and the frustrations that all parties, I think, have had with the racetrack and the things that happened with the fairgrounds, and just needed to air a lot of those frustrations out. I think that was evident in some of the early conversations I know with the mayor and Ryan when we met initially with the fairgrounds. Those community members needed to get their voice and ensure that it was heard, and I think we accomplished a lot of that today and last week, and in the time that AZ had with just making sure that was heard. I could anticipate that there's likely other people that are very supportive of this, of what happened and wanting that to take place, and certainly those voices can be heard as well, and recognize that we are trying to find common ground, that that the fair can have opportunities to operate that support their mission to carry out the fair during the week. They this year that was commented in the public hearing, so I can kind of quote to it that this was a really rough year financially because the dates of the fair where they generate revenue were slower in attendance because much due to weather. So it was a rough year, and they events like that can generate additional revenue for using their facility keep them viable in the future. So I think that's where kind of this good balance can happen in terms of the fair doing the services and providing the actual week of the fair or the 4 days of the fair. They just need that ability to make sure that they can keep it going, because some years it might be great, other years it might not. But then if I get a chance, I would like to bounce back to the chamber because I did meet with them last. So if anybody else has any planning, Chris, do you want to share anything?
I guess I just want to share that the timing of it is somewhat important too, because I think we wanted to be fair to the fair board, so they can plan their yearly schedule. So I think we're aiming, I mean, do you anticipate it being on the January Planning Commission agenda or not?
Not January, no.
Okay.
No. I think maybe February Planning Commission and then have the recommendations going to the council in March. Hopefully, if we do get to a place where we all feel very comfortable with it, like it wouldn't prevent them from potentially scheduling events if we know, it all ends up really well. I'm not promising that, but it all ends up, going the direction that it expects to go by that February time, and it stays consistent to that through March, then, I think that gives them they should be safe to booking events.
Yeah.
But
All right.
So then back to the chamber. Yes. So as we've said before, Maggie Wilson ended her term as chamber director. The Chamber of Commerce met and invited members of our community to provide some input on the direction what they want to go with hiring a new director. Their board had that meeting here last Friday in the morning, and I was able to attend remotely. So do have a positive direction. They do intend to go out and seek a new chamber director. However, one of the kind of key elements to that was the downtown space in which they rent and operate out of a few days a week. It was looked at in terms of is that space really needed for them, and would they have an opportunity to potentially go somewhere else that may be cheaper or no cost to them and use the $10,000 or they estimate about $9,000 of rent and utilities that they're spending on that office space. So it was asked, and I committed expressed that there's definitely a possibility. We do have ample space here at City Hall. Like, we have a lot of unused space, and I think if they're comfortable with not being downtown, and not necessarily on a high traffic area, but something that's accessible, I think we could find a way to make that work. My opinion of that is if we are making contributions to them as a chamber, as a lot of cities do, if we're providing them a space, then the dollars that we're contributing to them are even going farther versus, hey, maybe the dollars we give to them, we can't dictate exactly what they use them for, but if we're giving them that money and they're spending that much in rent, hey, this means that they maybe have capacity to do more, or maybe it just goes into ensuring that they can hire a high-quality candidate that is gonna kind of carry forward the great things that Maggie's kind of built up in the 3 years that she's been on the chamber director.
All right. Let's go around the horn. Jed?
Okay, Public Works Park Board, one thing I failed to mention, normally meets on the first Thursday of the month. January 1st would be the first Thursday of the month. We are not meeting on the 1st.
Okay.
City Hall is closed, so we will be meeting on January 8th, just for the record. So,
All right.
I do want to give like a little bit of explanation of snow plowing, especially downtown. Depending on the nature of the storm, the guys come out, they plow the downtown, and then they can blow it off or plow all the streets, then they plow the downtown. Normally, if the storm ends, early in the evening, they're in at midnight, 1 o'clock, and they're able to plow the entire town and blow the downtown area very easily within that 8 hours and be done. They're very efficient at it and go good. This last storm, the storm didn't quit until after 4 o'clock in the morning, which we got traffic, and it's just not feasible for us to blow the downtown. I got a few questions about why we didn't blow the downtown. It's just too hard. It's such big equipment, and when we do the windrows and everything, it's just too clustered to try to do that, and it's not safe. And so we came in the next night and blew the downtown, which majority of cities around here, that's what they do. They plow the first night curb to curb, and then they come in the next night and clear the downtowns. Our guys are very efficient at what they do. So just an explanation of how we get after it. The other thing is if looks like there's going to be plowable snow, please don't park on the roads. The city ordinance is no street parking from November to March 31st. The guys will be in to plow. So if it's plowable, we'll be doing it. So other than that, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jed. Izzy? All right. Chief?
I just want to echo what Jed was talking about. I mean, if it's going to snow, please get your cars off. We don't like writing tickets and towing cars because we know the impact it has on people the next morning when they come out and their car's gone. But that's what we have to do. And the reason we have to do it is to make it, for Public Works, to make safe and efficient. That's how they're able to get the downtown cleared in that same day. When we have those odd snowfalls, obviously it offsets, but we try to put out the notices, let people know, but it's Minnesota. It's gonna snow again, if not this year, next year. So, you know, please, when it snows, doesn't matter if it's just a light dusting, just, you're better off not being on the street. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. Thank you.
Real quick,
Yeah.
is it working having, I know by Nick Steiner Library, those cars that used to park there overnight are down in by the winery parking lot now?
I haven't gotten feedback from Public Works one way or the other.
They don't typically use the parking lot, but I think those residents or people that park there, I know I pay attention to that pretty closely because my apartment's on the other side. They get their vehicles moved. Like there was the night before the night where it snowed till 4 in the morning and they didn't clear. I was out pretty late and I saw, and there wasn't a vehicle there. So I think the people that are there typically know, and they would have find another place for their vehicle to go until
Because I
the
thought
snow
we
is moved.
designated that one facing the river
Yep,
as
you
where they
do.
could.
I've utilized that myself. I
Okay.
try not to park there when I know they're going to be moving snow also because I want the whole parking lot to be clean too.
Yeah, and we have a significant number of spaces available in either the lower city lot or the upper EDA lot. And they are being utilized, we know that.
I'm saying even across the street from the public safety building, some of those
that
public
city
spots
lot.
might be
Yep.
available. So there's spaces, and yeah, I would say I haven't noticed them on when I know, like specifically that night. I was actually very attentive, and there wasn't a car there. It was really kind of serene because usually there's always cars parked there. But
Sarah?
Our auditors were here today doing a prelim audit, and they spoke with you, Matt, and hope
Yep.
that went well. And then they asked us a bunch of questions, looked through a bunch of stuff, but more to come in May. So they're going to come the first week of May all week. So
Yep, that'll be the presentation.
Yep. And just Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you. John?
all right, got a really short budget meeting from me. I committed to keeping it shorter. No, I want to thank a lot of the staff. So it's been a year, one full year roughly since I've started. I really am honored and very appreciative of the opportunity to serve this community. It has been a whirlwind. There's been a lot of things that we've worked on, we've accomplished, we've struggled through, been frustrated with, but I just want to give a lot of credit to everybody that I've been working with that have made the efforts to give the time to have these, have at times difficult conversations, but ultimately to the end goal of working through and doing the things that are really good for this community, which I feel very confident and comfortable with the direction that things are going. So I just want to offer that and my gratitude to all those that have been involved in this and everybody that I've gotten to work with. So I really, truly do appreciate that, and especially you all in this council. It has been tremendous to have this chance to work with you all because, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's not every year, not every council, not everything has gone the way that this one has. But I think despite the challenges, it has been very good. Like I feel like I'm in a really, really very good place, and it's a credit to you as well. So with that, I do, again, it's the end of the year. Thank you for muddling through my budget stuff with me. I do enjoy that. But as we move into next year, I will kind of be talking about pretty early on, a lot of big things that we want to accomplish. The comp plan probably being one of the biggest ones. So, so I know we've been through a lot, and we want to, maybe take a break and take things easy. But I hope that you all have the opportunity to find ways to engage with that as well as other people in the community, because I think that can be a very valuable tool for us as we move forward in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Chris.
Nothing.
All right, Jep. Diane.
Well, and I didn't get this out in time at the Planning Commission, but Jesse Fox, who's been a member for a while, is resigning, or has resigned actually, and just a thank you to him for his service. He's been great to have on there, and just to wish everybody a safe and joyous holiday.
Thanks, Diane. Lisa.
Happy holiday, Merry Christmas, safe travels, and Happy New Year.
All right, Chad.
I guess I'm just a little disappointed in the planning commission. We have to wait on the fair. I didn't have a problem with a lot of the things that were put in there. I think if we step back to where this all began, it's because they had the micro sprints, and a lot of people did not like that. And even people that really liked the fair did not like the micro sprints. They got away from the micro sprints, and now we're talking about regulating their camping and how long their vendors can set up ahead of time. And I heard people at the meeting say, well, both sides have to give. Well, I feel like the fair already gave by, hey, we aren't going to do the micros. We're going to run these things by you. And people are saying they're driving by, they're seeing trash. Like, no, there's just a lot of things there. I get you guys are going back to it. I think you got your work cut out for you there. And probably the best thing, just get something really solid here for the next meeting, because I'd hate to see them being pushed back. Like Nobach already hinted to, they need to start planning their events. And if they can't, what do? We have to run everything by us? They want to have a birthday party or a wedding? And like what? And at a certain point, like if we try to over-regulate, like let's focus on the problem, but I guess that's all I got.
Thank you, everybody, for covering while I was gone. I really appreciate the ability to enjoy my time not wearing the mayor hat and being with my family and going on vacation. That was wonderful. Going along the lines of what Diane had said with Jesse stepping down, thank you to Jesse for his service. But also, if people are interested, and this goes to council members, this goes to staff members, if there are people that you are interested in the community to recruit to serve on a board, committee, to possibly run for council next year's an election year, I would strongly advise people that the first step to getting involved in the community and getting to know the system is serving on a board and volunteering. A lot of that times it's one night a week or one night a month, and then the emails and the phone calls. But that is really how you get your feet wet and start to figure out how everything works and get to know all of our wonderful staff members and department heads and work a little bit closer with them. So I would definitely encourage, if you have people in mind, encourage them. You can come to City Hall, fill out applications, and then I will get an email. The appointments get made in January, and the approval is by you guys. So I get to appoint, you get to approve, and I strongly encourage people to get involved. And it's nothing against the people that have served, because I've been around for 7 years now. I'm probably in that camp too, where it's time for some fresh blood. But there's a lot of people that serve on these boards that if they don't change, nobody else gets the opportunity to get involved, and then it just is the same old, same old. And I know that there are some people that are former council members that, in January I have to ask, hey, are you interested or are you not interested? But if there's nobody to replace, they're the default option. So they're not elected positions, they're appointed positions, and it's year by year. So, for the calendar year, it's yours. So I definitely encourage people, if they want to be involved, if they want to, think about serving in the council in the future, that's a great way to start. So happy holidays to everybody. Have a good new year. Celebrate appropriately. Have a good time. And this has been a great year. Similar to what John had said, we've accomplished a lot as a council. So be proud of each other. Be proud of what we've done. I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion from Diane, second from Chad. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.